Hey guys, welcome to Ollie Sports and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about day one of the NBA trade moratorium being lifted. We got 5 trades if you include the Dennis Schroeder trade to the Lakers today, 1 minor trade, 2 medium-sized trades, and 2, I would say, big trades. Not quite a James Harden blockbuster trade, but still quite a bit of activity in the market. So in today's video, I'm just going to be going over the trades, giving my thoughts, and maybe giving some grades to the teams. So the first trade, this one actually broke yesterday or a while ago, and it's the Lakers received Dennis Schroeder and the Thunder received Danny Green and a 2020 first round pick, which is pick number 28. And well, I think this is a great trade for the Lakers. I mean, turning Danny Green into Dennis Schroeder. Danny Green really didn't play his best in the playoffs for the Lakers, and both on expiring deals worth about $15 million each. So the Lakers give away their first, but they get Dennis Schroeder, who I think will be a great third option for them. Obviously, in the non-LeBron minutes, he can really take over the offense, and then when LeBron's on the floor, he can just play good defense, and his spot-up shooting really improved this year with the Thunder, so that's a huge positive for the Lakers, and I think he'll be a really good fit there. I think he'll probably come off the bench, but play more than 30 minutes a game. And then for the Thunder, they get Danny Green, who's on an expiring deal. They'll probably look to move him, and then if they can't, they'll just let his contract run out. And then the 2020 first round pick, number 28, maybe they're confident about someone in that range, or it's just another pick, another effort to try and get a young star. For the Thunder, you think maybe they could have gotten more for Schroeder, but he is not expiring, and one thing it does do is it helps the Lakers, which hurts the Clippers. And the Thunder basically own all of the Clippers' picks. So maybe if the Clippers fall short of the Lakers again, it'll convince Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to leave the Clippers, which would obviously be good for the Thunder. Anyway, the first trade of today, which was broken, was the Brooklyn Nets received Bruce Brown, and the Pistons received Musa and a 2021 second round pick via Toronto. Obviously a very small trade there. I think both teams probably do well in this one. The Nets get Bruce Brown, they probably like, and he might be a guy towards the end of the rotation who gets a few minutes. And the Pistons get a second round pick in Musa. I mean, I guess that's an okay return for Bruce Brown. I don't really see why they felt the need to do this, but let's move on to probably the biggest trade of today. The one that was rumored quite a bit. It's Chris Paul to the Suns. The Suns receive Chris Paul and Abdel Nader, and the Thunder get Kelly Oubre Jr., Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, Jalen Lecque, is that how you say it? And a 2022 first round pick. So my first reaction is this isn't a great trade for either team. It's just a pretty good trade for either team. Let's talk about the Suns first, because they're probably a bit more exciting. Obviously, they get Chris Paul to pair with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, and the other 2 players in the starting lineup would likely be Cameron Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Maybe they go after someone like Gallinari or Jeremy Grant in free agency. But Chris Paul can definitely help out with playmaking. We saw what Ricky Rubio did, and Chris Paul is just better than Ricky Rubio. So that's a big upgrade. Didn't really give away any essential pieces. I think Chris Paul will definitely help DeAndre Ayton quite a bit. Just getting him the ball in the post, running pick and rolls, things like that. And he'll probably help Devin Booker's growth, but also play alongside him, and they'll definitely be in playoff contention. I don't think it makes them an automatic playoff team, but I think they probably will make the playoffs if Chris Paul can have a similar impact on them like he did on the Thunder. As for the Thunder, Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio, I mean, they're both NBA players. I don't know what they're going to do with Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio. I think they'll probably be towards the bottom of the West this year, but they have so many first-round picks. And they get another one in this deal, a 2022 first-round pick. I think it has a protection on it, so they won't be getting like a top 3 pick, but just another pick to add to the stash that Sam Presti has been collecting. And then they could also either keep Oubre and Rubio or move them on for more assets. Okay, so the next trade is one that went under the radar quite a bit, and the Blazers got Robert Covington and the Rockets got Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks. Number 16 in this year, and a 2021 protected first-round pick. So, I think this is a great move for the Blazers. Obviously, giving up 2 first-round picks, but I think they're more focused on winning now with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. And Robert Covington is someone who could play the 3 or the 4, can really help them out defensively. Obviously, with a smaller backcourt, they need all the defensive help they can get, and Robert Covington really helps that. He's a pretty good perimeter defender, but he's also a great interior defender for his size. Can play the 3 or the 4. I'm not too sure what he'll play, but him and Nurkic, and then McCollum, Lillard, and whoever they have playing the 3, whether it's Rodney Hood or Gary Trent, or if they want to go big, they could have Robert Covington at the 3 and play Zach Collins, or they could sign someone in free agency. Just a lot of options for the Blazers. Yes, it's 2 first-round picks, but I'd rather have a really good player who can be a starter and really help them. And I think, obviously, last year they struggled to make the playoffs. They did just squeeze into the 8th seed, but this will definitely help them out. And then for the Rockets, does not look good in Houston. If they're trading away Covington, I think it shows that they're looking to get future assets instead of trying to compete next year. So what does that say about them moving on either James Harden or Russell Westbrook? But that's a topic for a whole other video. They received Trevor Ariza, who obviously played for the Rockets before, and just a few days ago he came out and said he didn't really like his time in Houston, and now he's been traded back to the Rockets. So that's kind of funny if you're someone from the outside, not Trevor Ariza. And then 2 first-round picks. I mean, they traded so many picks to get Westbrook, and they've been so aggressive with picks in past years with James Harden and Daryl Morey. So, starting to get some draft capital back. And they could very well draft someone at number 16 who could come in and help their team instantly. There's quite a few guys like that in this draft. So I'd say, like, in a vacuum, a good return for Robert Covington, but if you look at the big picture, it shows that maybe James Harden and Russell Westbrook could be moved on. Okay, the final trade of the day, which broke pretty late in Eastern time. The Milwaukee Bucks received Jrue Holiday. The Pelicans get Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, 3 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. So let's talk about the Bucks. I mean, basketball-wise, I think this is a great move for them. And Giannis-wise, I think this is either says one of 2 things. Either they're really desperate to keep Giannis and they want to show him that they're committed to winning, or they're confident Giannis is going to re-sign and they want to try and get him some help for the next couple of years. So what Jrue Holiday can do is not completely choke in the playoffs like Eric Bledsoe, but he also brings some defense, which Eric Bledsoe also did, to be fair. But think he's a better shooter than Eric Bledsoe, even though he's not a great shooter. And obviously his playmaking is great. So this could maybe allow Giannis, when teams are building the wall, to do more traditional big man things, like set screens and roll to the rim. And it gives them not an elite shot creator, but someone who can create their own shot if they're needed, but can also play make and create open shots for other players. And while maintaining being really good on defense, or even being better on defense with Jrue Holiday. There was also news that they wanted to pursue Bogdan Bogdanovic for a sign-in trade, and that makes sense. You sort of replacing George Hill a bit, just getting that shot creation and that scoring ability. I don't know if they'll get him, but obviously they want to win now with Giannis. But the 3 first-round picks, if Giannis leaves, that's scary, but if he re-signs, those picks are all going to be in the late 20s. So this could go horribly wrong, but it could also be a good risk, and they could win championships and keep Giannis. As for the Pelicans, Eric Bledsoe, I would like to see him moved on, because Brandon Ingram, though he was better this year, still not a great three-point shooter. And Zion Williamson, obviously not a shooter, so I don't want to see Eric Bledsoe just clogging up the lane for those guys. But he could bring good defense, which Jrue Holiday does, but Eric Bledsoe could also do. He's a bit younger than Jrue Holiday. And he's a pretty good regular season player. So, and then they also get George Hill. They can move him on. He could come off the bench, provide a little bit of scoring. And then the main thing, because I don't think they are too interested in Bledsoe and George Hill, is 3 first-round picks. Obviously, they have all the Lakers picks from the AD deal, but they get 3 extra first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. So their secret hope is Jrue Holiday isn't that good on the Bucks, and Giannis leaves, and suddenly those are really good picks for them. But what could happen is those picks could be in the late 20s, but they're still first-round picks. You can still do something with them. But I would say the Bucks slightly win this one, just because if Giannis stays, this is well worth the risk and probably a really good deal for them. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.